Hi everyone, this is Beth from nursybethsbeauties.blogspot.com, and today I'm going to share a project tutorial with you. It's the drapery or curtain fold card, and I've seen this made different places, but I never really found any that I really loved how they turned out. I don't know, it was just my personal preference, but I saw some on Pinterest, some on YouTube, and I just wanted to go ahead and make my own, and I really love how it turned out. I am going to be using the Autumn Leaves stack by DCWV. Now this is a stack that is from 2016 here. It's brand new in stores, in Joann's stores. I don't know if it will be available after this year though, so if you're watching this at a later time, you may not be able to find this specific stack. But I chose this one because it's got gorgeous prints, and there are obviously fall prints in here, but there are several in here that don't need to be used specifically for fall. So I think that this is a good example of that one because the prints that I chose will be beautiful for any occasion. Okay, so let's get started. First we have a card base that's A2 size. It's 8.5 inches by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. I'm going to set this aside for now because I don't need that yet. The other pieces that we'll need to make the card are this piece right here, and that is 4 inches by 12 inches. And we also have these other smaller pieces for the card. This is going to be go onto the card front. It is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8 inches. This one is going to be the bottom portion of the card, and it's 3 1/4 inches tall by 4 inches wide. The top portion of the card measures 2 inches by 4 inches. And this little white section, which is actually just a scrap piece of paper from one of the other prints, is 1/2 inch tall by 4 inches wide. We're going to start with this piece right here. And this is what we are actually going to make the curtain fold from. And it is, like I said, 4 inches tall by 12 inches wide. And what you need to do is mark 1 inch from the bottom on the left side and 1 inch from the top on the right side. Now, this is a dark print, and so when I marked it, I had it flipped over on the back since this is white on the back. Now, if you do that, you have to remember to flip where you are making your marks. So I had to put it 1 inch from the top on the left and 1 inch from the bottom on the right. And then I just took my paper trimmer, connected those two dots, and cut right down the middle. You only need one of these pieces for our card, but this is a great way to make multiples, and you have enough to make 2 of the curtains. All right, so I'm going to bring my scoring board in here. Now this part, we need to score at 3/4 inches. And the next score line is at 2 1/4, 3 inches, 4 1/2 inches, 5 1/4, let's see, 6 3/4, 7 1/2, 9, and 9 3/4. These are the measurements that I have found work the best for me. This is how I like my card to turn out. So the first thing that you always want to remember when you are making these curtain fold cards is you always want to make the first fold under. You can see the little bit of the white showing underneath there. I'm going to use this other bone folder, a little bit bigger. And you really want to crease those well. And then you take the next fold, fold it the opposite way, and you just do that for the entire length of your paper. Now you want to make sure that it lines up nicely on the top, otherwise when you put it on your card, it won't have as finished of a look. Of course, that's easier to say than do, especially when you're filming a video, right? Okay. Almost done. I love this paper. It's got a rose gold foil in it. Okay, now here it is all done. And you can see how it looks kind of like a curtain. All right, now I'll get back to it in a little bit. We will have to trim this off, but I didn't want to do it right away because I wanted to make sure it was the exact right width for my card, because there is some of a error possibly between when you fold this, or if you score it not exactly right, or depending on how wide your card base is. So this way we don't need to worry about having it too short or too long. We can trim it once we get to that point. Okay, we're going to bring this indigo color back in, and we are going to adhere those two pieces on with ATG. This is the top part, and it's just going to have, whoops, just going to have a real narrow border. This part will go on the bottom. Okay, now you can see this is where this is going to go. Just going to line up right up along that line, and see it does overhang, but this way we can get it to be the exact right width. But first, I'm going to come in and I'm going to glue under these and hold that down while it dries. Don't need a whole lot of glue, but just enough so that it gives it a nice secure hold. And then you flip it over and you do the same thing on the back. I'm going to hold that down for just a little bit so it has a nice firm hold. Okay. All right, and that's where it's going to go. Now I am going to take my scissors and just trim right along here. Have a little bit straighter of an edge here. And that's perfect, and that's why I didn't have it trimmed earlier when I was folding it. I wanted to be able to do it once it was all finished, so I knew I had the right width. You just put some glue on the back of here and line it up on that border between the two different pattern papers. All right, we're going to take this little 1/2 inch by 4 strip. And you can choose to put it down further. It just depends on where you want to have that be, what you're going to plan on putting on here, how you're going to embellish it. I am going to put this little die cut up here, and so I want it to be all the way, I want this white strip to be all the way onto this flower paper because I need to have room for that die cut. So just place that on there. And the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to put some nautical trendy twine around it because the colors in it match perfectly. I'm going to flip this over, put some ATG on here. And of course, it's to everybody's discretion how much or how little twine they would like on it. I usually like to have 3 wraps around there. And I also like to come in and put some tape over the ends just to make sure they stay where they need to be. Then I'll come in with the card base that I had showed you earlier. I'll adhere the whole thing together. And there is just going to be a very narrow border of white showing around the rest. And then we're going to adhere this die cut. Now this die cut was from Spellbinders Nestabilities. I used the second to the smallest die in this set. It's called Floral Ovals. And I stamped it. This is a retired stamp set from my craft spot. It's called With Deepest Sympathy. And this is one of my favorite stamp sets for sympathy cards. And I used Memento Tuxedo Black ink for that. And I am going to use, once again, I used some scrap paper of that paper pad. So I was able to use just a bunch of that paper. This is the Scotch foam tape. Just going to put that right in the middle. So a little dimension. Then I'm going to add some of these pearls. Now these pearls are from Oriental Trading Company. They're actually Halloween pearls, but they have an adhesive back, so they're really quick and easy to use, and the yellow matches very well. So I got one of those on my tool here. And then one more thing I'm going to add is just put a bow right here of this nautical trendy twine. This is available at Annie's Paper Boutique. I'll have links in the description. It's of course up to you how big or how little you like your bow to be. You can use a glue dot, but sometimes it's just easier to put some Scotch Quick Dry glue on the back. And you can mess around with it a little to get it look how you like it. And there you have it. Here's your finished card. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and subscribe if you like my videos. I'll see you again soon.